Hey everybody, welcome to Listen with Tania and Win.
Hello.
Welcome this Tuesday night. Thank you so much for joining us for eight, episode 8 of season 2. So excited. We want to thank everybody, as we always take a moment to do when we come on, is to say a big, huge thank you for every listener, every share, every comment, every repost. We just so love and appreciate our listeners and for being willing to go along with us on this lovely journey of obedience.
Mm,
So,
honey.
oh my gosh, like for real, that's a real thing.
Yes, it is.
So if you haven't already, make sure that you turn your notifications on so you know every single time that we do go live. Facebook will let you know. And speaking of not just Facebook anymore, we are officially on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, y'all. Woo! We have a YouTube channel. So we will post the link for that tonight in the comments, but the link is already located on our Facebook page. So for right now, you can catch every replay of season 2 is available on the YouTube channel. So if there's
Woo-hoo.
anybody you know that does not have Facebook, but you're like, look, there's something I need you to watch.
Mm.
You need to watch.
Hmm.
You need to watch these two crazy women. You can send
Wait
them
a minute.
a crazy faith, right?
That's right.
You can send them over to our YouTube channel and they can sit there and binge watch or do a playlist and watch all 7 episodes. And even this episode will be available by tomorrow on our YouTube page,
Love
on our
it.
YouTube channel. So excited and excited for who's on this screen with us when
Well, I'm Win Briscoe. I'm the cousin sister to Tania.
right.
There you go. You got that. And our dads are identical twins. You know, each week of your listeners who we are. And tonight we have a special guest. Oh my goodness. My girl, our girl, Erin Harrington. She is a fellow obedience
Mm,
follower out here in these
yes.
obedient streets.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Erin, you want to tell us about yourself? Tell our listeners who you are.
Well, it's so exciting to be here with you too. And yeah, I was thinking obedience. That's like a whole other topic. So I'm Erin Harrigan. I am a wife of coming up on 28 years. I'm an empty nest mom of 2 daughters. And I love tacos and I love travel. And I help Christian business women to tune out the world, to tune into God's truth, and to turn up their focus so they can walk out his assignment with clarity, serenity, and fulfillment. And I do that through coaching, speaking, and writing.
Love it.
So good.
Love it. And for the record, everybody that's watching, she's available to do that virtually. So you do not need to
Right.
be on the East
Exactly.
Coast where she is. So
Yes.
we will make sure that before this episode is over tonight, that we have put in the comments all the ways that you can connect with the amazing Erin. Um, yeah, because life changing. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Good peoples for sure. For sure. Oh my goodness. So, Erin, it's so good to have you here, honey. I don't even know what to say,
I,
So,
I know. I mean, it's just what he does, right? Like,
the other day I was on. I said I need to turn around. Where's Erin? I was trying to turn in my chair. It's that joke, but every time God was faithful, we was on a Zoom together, and it would be like, let's spin. I'd be like, Erin, spin. Where's your chair?
yes.
I was in a non-wheelchair, but I was turning around, honey.
Mm, so good.
I love it. So last week's episode in all context of this month being Thanksgiving, and typically everybody is full of gratitude and Thanksgiving during the month of November, we did part 1 of Forever Grateful. And so tonight, we wanted to continue the conversation, of course, with an added amazing person to the conversation tonight, being Erin. So excited for tonight. When you want to let everybody know a quick recap on last week, if you could
So,
recap it.
oh goodness. So last week we went over Forever Grateful Part 1. The week before that was Forget Me Not. So this is kind of the third in the series on gratitude. And for Forever Grateful, just really taking the time and thanking God
Mm.
for the things that He has done, the things that He not necessarily has done that we desired, but we're grateful that He hadn't done those, because let me tell you, in hindsight,
Right.
looking back on some unanswered prayers,
Yes.
those are great as well, honey. So the forever grateful of just staying in the state of gratitude
Mm.
despite of what is going on around you, despite of your circumstances, your situations, right? The difference between happiness and joy, right?
Mm.
Understanding that forever gratitude is not necessarily about situations.
Mm.
It's about, are you still going to be in a place of gratefulness despite, right? And so, and to know that it's forever. We don't just one and done with gratitude. So go back and watch last week. It's a
Yeah.
deeper dive, and the week before on Forget Me Not as well. So two great previous episodes with the gratitude theme for Thanksgiving.
Mm.
Awesome. Awesome. So tonight we are just going to keep the conversation going, and we'll probably get even deeper than last week. So we hope y'all are ready. And if you're not, you better get ready because we're jumping in.
Right.
So before we even go there, how was everyone's Thanksgiving? Speaking of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, we had our youngest home. She's in school in Philly. And so she was home. And our older daughter, Haley, who lives local where we are, her boyfriend's family invited us over for Thanksgiving. So it was amazing to meet them and to get to enjoy that hospitality and get to know Jake's parents a little bit. We think Jake is awesome, so it was great to meet him. But then we celebrated a birthday on Friday. My younger daughter's birthday is actually tomorrow. She'll be 22.
Wow.
And then we went to see theater on Saturday, which was incredible to be back in front of live theater. So it was a busy weekend, but it was very the opportunity to be present.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So good. What about you, Ann? How was Thanksgiving?
It was good. Thanksgiving twice was pretty awesome. We had it on Thursday and on Saturday. Since all of my family couldn't be in on one day, my mother just did a dual Thanksgiving.
Love it.
So that was great. And so having that time off on Friday was amazing as well. So I
Mm.
was grateful for the Wednesday through
Mm,
Sunday
mm,
experience, to be honest
mm,
with you.
I love that. I love that. We did not travel for this Thanksgiving. We stayed put. We did not come
Mm.
back to the East Coast, but we were blessed to spend Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving meal with family, as what we would call them, just extend
It's
friends
great.
that are so close. You might as well call them family, but they're family. So it was beautiful to get to spend time with their family, and to be able to love on them and them love on us, and just honestly reflect. Like, I don't know
Mm.
about you guys, but this Thanksgiving, like, it really it really touched me
Mm,
because it
mm,
was the
Mhm.
reality that, okay, God, you carried us through
that's right.
Mm.
and are continuing
That's
to
right.
carry us
Yes.
through
Yes.
it a world that is so
Mm.
shaky right now that we don't know what's going
That's
on
right.
from day to day. And
Mm.
so a day that the world uses to come together to give you thanks, I'm
Mm.
just like
Mm.
even the more appreciative. Like,
Mm,
I don't need a holiday to
right.
tell
Right.
me, or
Right.
Turkey to tell me I need to be thankful.
That's
But
right.
this one was just even the more, because I was able to call my parents and they actually pick up the phone. They're alive to answer, and me tell them, hey, happy Thanksgiving. So thankful, so love and appreciate you. So
Yes.
just extra special,
Yeah.
this one.
Mm,
Mhm.
so
Hmm.
good.
Yeah. So are we jumping in when you ready? We jumping in?
Absolutely. We had Erin on here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about being forever grateful.
Yes.
This is the last day of November. For those of you that are watching it on the replay, it's the 30th. And so I think it's just great that let's go out with some good energy and definitely let God know how grateful we are, not just in the month of November, but every day of the year, 365. And just let's just deep dive into why we are forever grateful. And let's break it down a little bit for the listeners so that they understand.
So last week we gave Webster's definition of thankful and grateful. But I'd love to give what would be considered the biblical definition of gratitude this week, which is to give goodness and grace to others as the giver has first received from God. It means to extend the joy of receiving to others and God through gestures of kindness and goodness. And I thought that was so good. I mean, I loved Webster's definition last week, but this one, applying it, just applying that definition of gratitude to God, which is to give goodness and grace to others as God has first
Given to us.
Given to us.
given
Yeah.
to us.
Right.
It's straight humbling. It's humbling. What do you ladies think about that definition?
I love that you said that it's humbling, because I think sometimes, being that expressing that gratefulness to the Lord is a daily decision. I think when you were just saying, it's not just about the month of November, right? But every single day, in every single moment, regardless of what's happening. And I think it is humbling to then extend that to others, because even as much as we try not to be, we tend to be, because we're human and we live in a fallen world, we tend to be self-absorbed. And I think we're not always good. I saw somebody post something today about being kind to customer service agents on the phone.
Yeah.
And how we've, in some ways, it's as if we've lost that ability to give grace. And if we remember that we are the light of the world and we are the reflection of Christ, people who know nothing of Jesus experience him in how they experience us. So in humbling ourselves to give that grace as his ambassadors, and the far reaching implications that can have, it amazes me.
That's so good and so true, because
our life is a living testimony, right?
That's it.
So if they never step foot in a church, if they don't have a personal relationship, their experience is us every day, every moment. So when we think about sometimes when we could be having, a human moment, and in that, how does that reflect well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They may not be reading their Bible, but they're reading us.
Honey.
Yeah.
And what does your story look like?
Like a book.
Right.
Yeah. What does it look like? What are they reading? What are they reading? And I agree with you, Erin. Just grace and gratitude with everyone. I know Wynn and I touched on that last week, how we feel so much of that is lacking
Right.
in this world right now. And even though this is Thanksgiving, as far as the holiday is concerned, this time, and then literally we're already approaching Christmas, and it's like, okay, well, can we maintain that? Because we need to maintain that. All the feels that everybody's having right now, like, can we maintain? Like, we need to seriously maintain that, because come January 1st, it would be a travesty to go back to life as it has been prior to the month of November.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. I remember years ago, and I've only done once or twice going out on the Friday after Thanksgiving, because it's just not my deal, right? And so going out with some family or friends that might have asked for me to attend, it's like, how did we just have Thanksgiving the day before? How?
Right.
how was
Yeah.
this? How was this the Friday after the day you gave thanks
Mm,
with this such behavior? You
mm,
know, so I was like, I'll do sell small business Saturday. That's what I will do.
right.
The Friday, it's not for me. It's definitely not for me. So, and I didn't go out this year, obviously. So, it's about maintaining that level of gratitude, and hopefully, that people are thinking about it as a daily practice. And if
Mm,
they don't, let's just encourage them to do so.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a scripture. I know last week we gave a couple of scriptures. There's only one this week, and of course it's the Amplified because Wynn knows how much I love my different translations.
Honey,
And
honey.
and so it was First Thessalonians 5, uh, 16 through 18. But so I'm gonna read all of it, but I'm gonna read part of it really, really fast because I want to get to the really great part. So rejoice always and delight in your faith. Be unceasing and persistent in prayer. In every situation, no
Mm,
matter what the circumstances,
well,
be thankful and continually give thanks to God, for this is the will of God for you in Christ Jesus. It was that bracket for
because
me.
that's what the amplified version, for those of you who don't know, amplified always. I have not seen one scripture in amplified where they don't elaborate at least a
Mm,
little.
mm.
So they always give an emphasis. And
Mhm.
this little, no matter what the circumstances.
Yes. And I am looking up at my wall because I have that scripture on my wall from
I didn't know
Come
like
that.
on.
a paint workshop. And as soon as you were saying it, I was like, wait a minute, I have that on my wall.
I love it.
And I think we miss that point of, extending God's grace. I mean, you said this
Mm,
earlier, Tania. He gave it to us first. He didn't give it to us to keep to ourselves.
mhm.
He gave it to us to extend to others, to bring them into that fold, as we were saying, even if they don't know Jesus, and in every circumstance. And I've had people in the past say things to me like, "Oh, you're so Pollyanna. You see everything with a positive spin."
Okay.
And I think before I came to Christ in 2014, when I truly surrendered to him, I really did think about it of it was just positive thinking, right?
Mhm.
But of course, since then, obviously, I'm a new creation. And I think in every circumstance, you said this earlier, when there is, you can be grateful because maybe it's an unanswered prayer. And that may be a
Yes.
prayer that we may not know for until we get to heaven
Right.
why it was unanswered. And sometimes we're so blessed in his faithfulness that he gives us a glimpse of why he didn't answer a prayer, or
Mhm.
how he didn't answer it in a certain way. And there is always that opportunity to be grateful in the morning, um, in loss, in crisis, in any of it. I think people have had a hard time finding ways to be grateful, even in the midst of everything that we've been going through since 2020. But I do believe there, if we know that he works all things together for our good, and we also know that that doesn't
Mm.
mean everything's always going to work out,
Honey.
Right.
right?
Right.
Then we know that there is always a reason to give thanks. Not
Right.
easy, but necessary, because that's what he's called us to.
That's real.
So
Yeah.
good. So good. I know, first and foremost, shout out to First Lady Ann Briscoe. Hi, Mom. Love you. That's my mommy.
Auntie.
Who's awesome, which dad is probably watching too. So hello, both parents. But I love what you said, Aaron and Win, because you're right. At times it is hard,
Mhm.
genuinely hard, to keep that forever grateful at the forefront.
Yes.
And if you're watching us live right now or even on replay, we'd love to hear your comments and your feedback. Post we'd love to know, when is it easy to be grateful, and let us even know,
Mm,
the times when it's hard, because
Mm.
we love. We're not the
mm.
only ones. Surely we can't be
No.
No,
the
no.
only
No.
ones that sometimes it's a little hard
Yes.
to remain forever grateful.
Mm,
But I love, like Wynn said, the emphasis the amplified version puts on its scriptures and what's in those brackets of no matter what the
Mm.
circumstances.
right.
And it's like, okay, that's an ouch. That steps on my
Mm,
toes.
mm.
I'll be the first to admit that.
Yeah, because all the things that God gives us naturally, we want to give to people situationally.
Mm.
I'm going to say
Yes,
that again. All the things that God gives to us naturally, we want to give situationally.
That's right.
Love, forgiveness, gratitude, grace, right? We can go on and on and on. All the things that God gives to us naturally, we want to pass that on with a filter,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
With a
yes,
select.
it's our flesh that shifts
Come
it
on,
from unconditional to conditional.
come on,
Right.
come on. We
We
want to
want to
filter it.
judge who gets it.
Listen, it
Oh,
gets
yes.
diluted or blocked.
Yes.
Mm.
Why?
Yes.
Why can't we
Because
just
we
be the
so easily
conduit
forget.
and pass on what we are naturally receiving?
Mm.
Because we so easily forget
Mm.
Okay, well,
that God
we
just
got to
gave us grace.
transition. Yeah, we got to transition from being a silo to being a conduit,
Mm.
right? In the
Mhm.
silo, we're just capturing, right? It's just a containment.
That's
Right.
No, a
good.
silo is a containment. No, he called us to be, no, we are the conduits, right?
Right.
We are supposed to be, it's the pass through.
That's right.
Yes.
And sometimes we get our roles mixed up. That's all.
Yes. Or we feel entitled to change that
Ooh,
role.
well, that was a
Sometimes
couple of
we do.
episodes ago, y'all, on, Forget Me Not. That was expectations and entitlement. Go back and watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
So
we want to twist it. We want
Mhm.
to we want to take it's like the telephone game,
Come on.
Like he gives it to
yes.
us, but then we translate it
Right.
and say it in a different way or leave a word out or cherry pick what we want it to say.
Mm.
And so then when it gets to the person, and then we decide who's in that line in the
Come
first
on.
place.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It to me, it's a beautiful example of that scripture: "Judge not, lest we be judged."
Mhm.
And we are sitting there, like you lady said, we're sitting there judging who is deserving of gratitude, who's
Mm.
Right.
deserving of grace,
Mhm.
when it's the recognition that all of us, first of all, none of us deserve God's
Deserve.
grace, hence why
Right.
it's called
Zero.
grace.
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
But
Exactly.
the gratitude, I mean, it is something, that gratefulness, we should constantly be in a posture of,
Yes.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful, like you said, with customer service, Erin. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. Thank you for
Right.
helping me with my issue.
Right.
Just saying thank you. I went to Chick-fil-A this morning, and I don't know about you guys, but our Chick-fil-A's has two drive-through lanes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So do
Mhm.
Okay, so ours do as well. And I went into what I thought was going to be the faster one because there was only one car. The other lane had two cars, and I was like, I just want to get home. So I went into the one I thought was faster. Well, come to find out, there was only one car at that lane for a reason, because evidently the person that was taking orders in that lane must have been new, because
Mm.
he was going very slow in making sure that he took that order like precisely.
Yes.
Mhm.
Whereas I could, when your window's down, you can hear the other lane, and there's like literally like two cars like just going in front of me to get the food. And I'm still sitting there, and I was like, God, help me to even find
Mm.
gratefulness and
Mm.
grace
Mm.
Mm.
in this, because one, those people may be rushing to an office. I'm blessed to be rushing to go home.
Come on.
Right.
And I'm grateful to you, God, that I'm just trying to get home, to work for myself.
Right.
Like there was so much
Right.
in that moment to be
Oh,
grateful for,
Yes. Yes.
and to even have the recollection to humble myself, to be like, okay, I used to have my first job.
right.
That used to be me.
Oh, that's good.
I remember what that felt like, wishing people would please be patient.
That's
Right.
good.
Please
Yeah.
be
Yes.
patient with me. And I feel like this world has just lost all patience right along with the gratefulness,
Mm.
But it was just funny because I just sat there and just let the young man just take his sweet time with my order,
Yeah.
And when I pulled around, the lady was like, "How are you today?" I was like, "I am excellent."
Well,
Like,
with my soul. Thank
That
you.
is
right.
right.
It
I was
is
like, "That was
well with my
great."
soul.
You
I am
know,
blessed and highly favored.
There you go. There you
that
go.
one, that one. But
Yes.
yeah, to me, it's it's easier to remember to remain grateful
Mm.
when I remember one that could be me, should have been me, or used to be me.
Mm. Mm.
It's real.
Mhm,
It's
Yes.
real.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So the healing of the 10 lepers
Mm.
was, has been kind of in our theme scripture, if you will, Aaron, for this 3-part series. But what,
Yeah, that was a good breakdown right there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the daily habit of gratitude. When we take into consideration the realization of what Jesus has done for us.
Mm. Yeah.
Mhm.
For me, it's about being disciplined to protect the time with him, not just to pray, not just to ask, not just to read scripture, but to sit to listen, right? You're saying so that we don't forget him, right? So that we're remembering. But I think the decision of daily gratitude, the decision to preserve that
Mhm.
in our lives way long ago, I probably was 2000, I don't even know, 8 maybe, when, I can't remember who it was wrote the book, but it was that gratitude journal, right? And you're supposed to write 5 things that you're grateful for every
Yeah.
day, and I think the thing is it's like giving, like God wants a cheerful giver. Well, he wants a cheerful thanks. It's not, it doesn't have to be methodical. It doesn't have to be prescriptive,
Yeah.
but to be the one like the 10 lepers, right? Only one turned around
Mhm.
to say thank you. And for us to establish that daily habit because it's nothing in comparison to what Jesus gave to us. And we sometimes I think we're so far removed from it, right? In a time and space perspective that I often find myself saying, "Thank you for doing this, Lord," or "Thank you for doing that," or "Thank you for that thing or that event or that whatever," versus like, "Thank you for being you. Thank you for
Mm.
even like
Mm. Mm.
giving
Mm.
me more than I deserve
Come
and
on.
Yeah.
less than I actually deserve," right?
Mm.
And to be grateful, to be in a daily habit of thanking him for being him.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. And that is real talk because you will hear people thank God for parking spaces and and
Everything
stuff
else.
on sale all day long.
All day long.
It's like, oh, won't he do it? You hear people say, won't he do it? Or God did that. And it's like,
Mm.
okay. But like you said, Erin, what about taking the time to thank God and being grateful for just who he is?
Absolutely.
Right.
His
Yeah.
existence. Absolutely. His
Yes.
sovereignty, right?
Yes.
Just who he is.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
This was a great discussion point. It ties in because this is episode 8 for those of you that are catching up. It ties in episode 6, 7, and 8 basically With the healing of the 10 lepers, it's easy to judge the 9, but maybe Jesus intended we focus on the 1.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right? And it says, like the lepers, Jesus gave each of us a brand new life. Will you be the one who's grateful? Will you grow your daily habit of gratitude? Will you grow your daily habit of gratitude on the realization of what Jesus has done for you? And are you forever grateful? Right? So you hear so many messages spoken on the 9, so many, but not often do you hear about the 1, and not just the 1, but us being a 1, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because honestly, at this point, those of us that are grateful believers, it's kind of like we're one in the world. Like we're the minority.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
We're the minor. I know I'm the minority when I'm on the road and I raise my hand and I say thank you in the rearview mirror because no one
Right.
has done that for me.
That's right.
I thought of
No
you the
one.
other day when I let someone in
Mhm.
and I wave to them, right? As in, you go ahead, I'm letting you come in front of me to go into the other parking area.
Yes.
And they just looked at me, honey. Like I was like, okay, like you give
Right.
them the nod, like God bless you, so you might not have recognized, maybe that's not how you were raised. We have Briscoe driving school, and
That
you,
is
you
true.
give a hand, a gratitude, a thank you when someone lets you in. You show recognition.
That's right.
But
I
everyone
do.
may not have that, right? Like I said last week, gratitude really is a home training,
Mm.
you
Mm.
know? So really your legacy a lot of times dictates your level of gratitude. How often, if at all,
Mm.
right? What for? And so, everyone doesn't have that. And so
Mm.
giving the grace also to understand that some people are just learning
That's
gratitude
right.
as adults with children, and it was never taught to them. It was never expressed. They never experienced it. And so, it takes these months of
Yeah.
November, that hopefully it rubs off and they start to experience gratitude around them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as this world comes out of this pandemic, it will be more of a permanent posture because
Mm.
I don't know who can still take I don't know who can still take their very breath for granted anymore.
Mm.
You know what? Listen, how many people realize that God Himself give them the breath to be ungrateful?
Yes.
That's
Right,
real talk, right?
right.
He allows you to express yourself in your
Mm.
feelings and in your emotions
Hmm.
with the very breath that He gives.
Mm.
He allows us to be ungrateful with the very breath that he
I
gives.
Correct.
mean, he does.
I mean, so to put that in context,
Oh my goodness. So I love how we had one point for today was just when we are ungrateful, we are telling God we don't care
mm,
Mm.
about his grace and mercy in our life.
Mm.
well, well,
Mm. When you put it that way, when you put it that way, it makes it tangible for us to repent from, because really it's an
Yeah.
injury to God. I mean, it's something. I mean, it's a sin, so it allows us to stop and go, hold on a second. I
mm,
need to repent for that. And to not, how often we're saying we're so grateful to the Lord for giving us the breath and life and health and all of the things. But then we turn around, as we said earlier, and we won't give someone else the same grace, which,
correct.
what you do to the least of these, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So it
So
truly is
good.
hurting him. And it truly is, it's a physical sin that we can repent from, which is good news because it means that we can take that action
Right.
to rectify that and to change our way.
when people come to that acknowledgement, though.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Right.
So there's plenty of people that have gone through this life and left this earth without the acknowledgement
Correct.
of understanding that they've never taken a pause. They've never acknowledged the grateful heart that they should have. They haven't had. So, you know, I wonder, does God even, does he take us out? Does he take people out of here early? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure these are all the things to think about, right? If you're not grateful for the life breath that you have, do you continue having it?
Mm.
That is a great question to ask him one day when we see him.
I tell you.
Because I do believe he gives everyone the opportunity to express gratefulness to him. I do believe that. I do believe no one leaves this earth without the opportunity to express gratitude and gratefulness to God. But that's a great question, man. I don't know. I don't want to be the one to find out. So
how about it? Not us.
So my goal is to not stop being grateful.
That's right.
Well, what are the barriers or blockers that prevent us from being grateful? I want to say, I was going to say that make you ungrateful, but no. What are the barriers or blockers that prevent us from being grateful?
To
me,
go ahead.
No, I was thinking some of the things that we had talked about earlier. So expound on them.
But go ahead, Erin. What were you going to say?
Yeah, to me, our self-reliance, our self-righteousness. I think there's a level of feeling that the things that we've worked for, that we've earned, we did that. I've had conversations with people who've made comments about a particular achievement I had or a particular way I handled a situation, and I didn't used to be this way, but I now am very quick to say, "Oh no, that's the Lord. I'm just being obedient," right? And to have them not aggressively, but argue with me. Well, but you're the one that did the work, but you're the one that took the steps, but you're the one that followed through. And I say, but without him, that opportunity would not have even been there. So that self-righteousness or that self-reliance is, in my eyes, definitely a barrier. And perhaps even what's coming up for me now is, thank you, Holy Spirit, do we sometimes see giving him that gratitude as weakness or not standing up, but self-confidence?
That's good.
If we're not taking, if we're taking all of that on ourselves to say, oh, look what I have, or look what I did. I don't know.
Interesting.
That is good.
Interesting.
I know, right? That deserved a pregnant pause. That was really good. That was so good. I agree with Erin and all the points she made about everything she said about barriers or blockers. I will say, just like from the last 2 weeks, that entitlement.
Spot on.
That entitlement that we deserve every single thing that we have. And the selfish part of that is that we're quick to say that about everything that's good. Well, I deserve everything that's good. But you will hardly ever hear somebody say, well, I deserve that punishment I got.
Come on.
Or I deserve that firing that I got on my job. I deserve losing that friendship because I didn't appreciate it or I didn't respect that person. Like, you won't hear people too often admit what they also deserve in the negative.
No.
But that entitlement of everything, like you said, Erin, good in the earth, it's like, well, I deserve that. I should have that. And it's like, no, if we all talk about what we should have.
Ma'am.
Ooh, Ooh, what we should have is to all bust hell wide open. That's what we should have. Oh,
Goodness gracious.
but
Right.
for the grace of God, going back to that
Yes.
again,
About
but
the
for the
grace.
grace of God.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I definitely see entitlement and selfishness
Mm-hmm.
as barriers and blockers that
Mm,
prevent us from being grateful and remaining grateful.
mm,
What about you, Win?
Mindset for me um, is something that's very much linked to gratitude
mm,
and having a mind and really a perspective, right? Of no matter where you are right now or whatever you're experiencing, you're alive to experience it.
that's right.
And so that within itself is a plus.
Mm,
And so finding that perspective, shifting your mind. So the barrier that always comes to mind when it comes to people who are ungrateful
Yeah.
is just that their mind is not there.
mm,
They truly want to sit in the negative. They want to see the glass empty. And so, they may be, complaining about ailments, but okay, you're alive to feel them, right?
mm, mm.
Um, maybe certain things in your body's not functioning the way that they should. Okay, but you're alive to experience that. Everything may
Mm.
not be the way that you want it, but again, you're alive to experience it. So, you have choices. There's
That's right.
options. And God always, what does it say? He puts before us life and death. Choose life. He's
Right.
giving you the answer. It's an open book quiz, and he
That's right.
gave you
That's
the
right.
answer. Okay, in the same sentence. So it's about, just that mindset perspective that's blocking them from even seeing what they could be grateful for because they're so focused on so many other things.
Mm, mm,
So good. So,
Mhm.
along those lines, ladies, in order for us to remain grateful, we talked about we need grace, we need that forgiveness. Would there be anything else you all would add to that list to keep us in a forever grateful posture?
Hmm.
humility comes up for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is good.
Willingness to be humble, willingness to humble ourselves before him.
Come on.
That's good.
Mm.
Yeah. What about you then?
Hmm. Yeah, grace and forgiveness are huge. Definitely forgiveness, right? And so in order to stay in a state of gratitude, just I'm going to have to go with those two because those are two top things that definitely help me keep perspective of gratitude.
That's good. I would add unconditional love,
Mm.
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
a true godly love, because it's that recognition once we realize
Hmm.
Right.
how
Right.
much God loved and still loves us
Hmm.
in all that he did
Right. Right.
and continues to do for us. I think once we have a true revelation of that love
Mm,
and
mm,
that kind of love, you
Right.
can't help but be grateful enough to want to shift your eyesight from how you see people to how God sees people.
Hmm.
mm.
You know, to be able to walk around and say, God, okay, this person, they're difficult, so I'm gonna need you to help me see them as you see them.
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
Yes.
So that I can find something to be grateful for, even in my interaction with this person right now, or with these
Mm,
people, or this
mhm.
season that you have me in, or this place that you have me in. Um, yeah, the unconditional love, the God love, the
So
true
good.
agape love.
Hmm.
Yes.
That would be one I'd add to that list.
So good.
Hmm. Yeah. So when you had an exercise, you had said you had found an exercise people could try.
It was online exercise that will strengthen your gratitude, really, and your grateful perspective. Think of something or someone that is good that you have, and now work backwards until you find God as the source of that good thing. Right. So there's times where I write in my gratitude journal that I'm grateful for whatever. And then there's times where I write in my gratitude journal, I'm grateful for the gift giver. Right.
Mm.
Because I have to keep it in perspective
That's right.
of
That's right.
it's all about God, and the gift is great, but the giver is better.
That's right. That is so true.
All day long. Yes, every good and perfect gift. And we will post that that exercise in our comments so that
Mhm.
if you want to give that a try to increase your gratefulness, your gratitude muscles
Yeah.
in this season, so that it can go beyond just the month of November.
That's right.
And
And
you have a great point. Gratitude is a muscle, a lot like forgiveness, and a lot like love, and a lot like
oh
grace,
yeah,
right? We have to work those muscles. And if we don't, then they're no good, because when we need them, we have no strength in that area because we haven't been working that muscle.
mm-hmm. Once again, a muscle that God gave,
That's
Come
right.
on.
That's right.
a muscle that He gave us in the first place. He even modeled it for us.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I made this thing dummy proof.
Mm.
I made it dummy proof, right?
Yeah. We just need to model, right? This is the simplest walk. That's the hardest walk.
That's
It's
right.
been modeled. The answers have already been provided. Everything you already need. Source is already there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what makes it hard? What makes it a
Hmm.
hard walk?
Why do people fail open book tests? Right? How many people do you know when we were in college, when we were in high school, that failed open book tests?
All the time.
Yes.
All the time. Not willing to put in the work.
Come on.
Right.
Not willing to put in the work.
It's
And
already
not willing
provided.
and not willing to see people with God's view,
Mm.
through God's eyes.
Right.
Because it is very easy, very easy to become frustrated with people, as you love to say, when people, places, and things.
Come on.
Um, when we don't have God's glasses on, it's like okay,
Right.
you know. So speaking of gratitude, Erin, we want to hear about your forever gratefulness journey.
Whew.
Share, please share with our listeners.
Yes. So for me, I mean, October 4th, 2014 is when I surrendered my life to Christ. Up until that point, I thought I had a relationship with the Lord. I prayed, but really it was sort of this new age universe law of attraction mashup
Yeah.
with kind of this guy named Jesus in the middle of it. And I can look back now and see, as we talked earlier, the pieces that he puts in place and how he connects the dots and the paths and who he connects us to and all of those things. But really, as Paul on the road to Damascus, right? That my eyes were open, the scales dropped from my eyes, and I could begin to see him leading me in different directions. So at that time, we were in a financial crisis. We didn't realize how bad the financial crisis was. We just were making poor, self-centered, self-righteous financial decisions. And over that next really 4 years, the Lord was just teaching us so much. We went through Financial Peace University in 2016, And that changed everything, of course, in the way we viewed finances, but it also repaired our marriage. It created a completely different legacy for us financially. But it's like the Elevation Church song, Do It Again. And there, the line in the song is, I've seen you move the mountains and I
Right.
believe that you will do it again. And so
Yes.
like I'm looking back up at my board, and I have a piece of paper on my whiteboard in my office that lists like every single way that he's delivered us. And it wasn't about things, and it wasn't about dollars. I mean, it really was about his pruning. You said this
Mm.
earlier, when that we are the conduit, not the silo.
Correct.
And I can see where I was a silo, and I can see where my husband and I were silos until he got a hold of us. And so my forever grateful is not only all that he delivered us through, but understanding finally that everything is his. We are simply stewards. That in the midst of that journey, while I came to Christ in 2014, that my husband came to Christ in 2017. And the strongholds of pride or idolatry that had ruled my life to that point, up until Brian was saved, I was still very self-centered in thinking, oh, well, I've got Jesus now, and now I can go change, the world. I can impact the kingdom. And then becoming understanding of the Lord saying, no, friend, that's not up to you. That's up to me. You are the conduit, right?
Right.
But it's really watching him move in Brian's life, and knowing that because of Brian and who he is, and that when Jesus got a hold of him, like the lives that will be impacted by that pebble, if you will, it's forever grateful for that. That if everything else went away, knowing that he has that relationship
Yeah.
means everything. And being forever grateful that he pursues us. I have one daughter who I think is, um, she's surrounded by incredible young Christian friends who I know are reflecting Christ to her. And so I pray over that. And then I have a daughter who doesn't believe in God. And that's challenging because, as a parent, you want those things for your children, but still forever grateful that I believe that he pursues them, and I believe that he's in charge of it. I'm just a steward, right? They're his children, not, and just the like we were saying earlier, all of the ways that the Lord is faithful and long suffering and gracious and merciful, and seeing him work that out in our journey, and in our life and in my business, and seeing what he does when we're obedient, and the power of us being obedient, and how he so desires to bless that. But like everything else, he gives us a choice whether we'll be obedient or not. And just witnessing him move, I think that for me, that he doesn't have to show us how he moves. And yet he's so gracious to do so. All of those pieces always give me hope, because I've seen him move the mountains, and I know he'll do it again. He may not do it in the same way. Certainly he may not do it in the same length of time.
Yeah.
But knowing that he is that gracious, that for me is what it means to be forever grateful.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And the lyrics to that song is amazing.
Right?
Yes.
Shout
Yeah,
out to Elevation Church.
Yes.
We'll have to post the link to that song.
Do It Again is what
In
it's
the
called.
comments.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then my
Do It
other
Again.
song right now that I seem to have on repeat is there's a song by Kane, the band, called I think it's Yes He Can. And the lyrics are, did he defeat the darkness? Did he deliver me? Yes, he did. So yes, he can. And so even again, going back to us how people experience the Lord through us in our gratitude for knowing that yes, he did,
Right.
and yes, he
Yeah.
can, and yes, he will, and to show up in that kind of gratitude every day. It's just I don't, even when it
Mm,
doesn't look like it, even in all circumstances, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our girl Tanya used to always say, even when you can't trace them, you can trust them.
Oof.
Girl, that's real, right?
Yeah,
You
it
may
is.
not be able to see what's going on, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to see it.
You don't need to.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
No, it's remembering that our lives aren't perfect, but
Mhm.
they are purpose.
Come on.
Yes.
And so it's like, God, I thank you because you didn't give me a perfect life. You gave me a purpose life.
Oh, I am writing that down.
Mm, mm, mm. It's real.
We'll have to put it on some merch. But
Mhm.
just it's like, God, I truly thank you because my life isn't perfect. If it was perfect, it'd be boring. Um, and it'd probably be over too quickly.
And we
So
wouldn't need him.
it would
There's
not.
that.
Not at all.
I
Mm,
mean, that's
yeah,
really the point.
that's the entire point.
Yes.
Entire
Mhm.
point. So, oh, I love this conversation. Love this conversation. If you guys are just joining us, hi, Marcy, my sister, dream partner. Hey,
That's
purpose
good.
life. Love it. Yes, yes. If you're just joining us, we are joined tonight by the amazing Erin Harrington, um, who she's more than a friend to Lynn and I. Truly,
Oh,
truly.
honey. That's a
That's
soul
the truth.
sister right there.
More
That's
than a
her.
friend. Her boat is anchored with ours in the
Yes.
deep, y'all. That's all we can say. Um,
That's right.
Obedience.
Mm.
Okay. 4 or 5 syllables in that word, honey.
Woo.
Okay.
we'll have to have another episode on obedience, a separate one, and then bring Aaron back
Yes.
Woo.
We,
for
we can
that
speak to
one.
that.
Oh gosh. So I know when you had some links to some
Yeah.
songs and other things.
Oh my goodness. So we're putting in the comments now. The first one is called The Power of Gratitude, and it's a great motivational speech by Steve Harvey.
Mm.
He does a kind of a voiceover, and then he's also clips with him as well. Listen to that. Let me tell you, if you need some perspective, it's gonna bless you for
Mm.
sure. It's a great little clip. And next one is also um, um, want to be happy, be grateful, and that was a really good um, comprehensive, like a TED talk for those of you that like things
I love
in
it.
that perspective. We try to give you a little variety on the show, being real and relevant. So you're going to get scripture, you're going to get TED talks, you're going to get motivation, inspiration, songs, worship, some sermons. You're going to get a little bit of it all. How to keep a gratitude journal, thinking out loud. Jay Shetty really gave a good perspective on that, talking
Mm,
about the significance of writing it down and writing it down daily.
Mm.
And so we know people might just go about their day and they may give gratitude kind of haphazard, random. But that he really broke it down of significance and really the impact of writing it daily and why it's
That's right.
important.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
good.
the I'm Grateful devotion is by Life Church. And if you all are not familiar with Life Church, they are the creators of the YouVersion Bible app.
So
And
good.
so the pastors there created that, which is amazing. So that in the comments there is going to be a link. If you have the YouVersion Bible app, download it. If you do not, don't if you don't have it on your device, that's fine. You can actually go to Bible.com and look at it right on your laptop or computer if that's easier for you. But that's a great devotion that talks about I'm grateful. It's multiple days and it breaks down gratefulness and gratitude over a multiple day time period.
Love it. Love it.
Little
That's
variety
awesome.
this week.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was actually good though. That was actually good. Little something for
I
everybody.
tried. Little buffet of gratitude, honey. Whatever works, right? You pick and choose what works best for you off the buffet.
However God speaks to you, however
That's it.
you hear him, because I
Yes.
mean, I sometimes I forget that everybody isn't always into music like I am. I'm like,
Right. Right.
why aren't you into music? Like God doesn't talk to you
Because
to
we
do
love
that
worship,
song?
but sometimes, people have to receive it what's best for them. And so I was
Exactly.
like, let's mix it up this week.
I love it. I love it. So let's transition to our next segment of favorites and flashbacks, ladies.
Mm, honey.
Y'all ready for this?
We're ready.
All right. Think of a time when you were the most ungrateful and, but now in hindsight, the most grateful in your life. So share a time when you were the most ungrateful at the time,
Mm.
but now in hindsight, or later in hindsight, you became the most. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this question without
Honey,
laughing.
listen, Erin.
Well, I'm sure I was quite ungrateful when I was a child. You know what? I'm going to give you a recent, I mean, relatively recent. So this is before I came to Christ. So in this was probably it was probably 2014 before I accepted Jesus, before I sort of hit the wall of like this is success because it doesn't feel very fulfilling. I had read the Mark Batterson book, The Circle Maker. Fantastic
Yes,
book. It's a
it
fantastic book.
is.
And this is how your girl was so like, give me what I want, God. Um, in the book, he talks about circling what became Ebenezer's Coffee House in DC, and he was talking about circling prayers. And don't you know, because I was vying for a big promotion in the business that was my idol. And
Mm.
I got right down on my knees in my family room and drew a circle around myself with my finger in the carpet. And I was like, Lord, I am circling this promotion, and I know you're going to give it to me. And I didn't get it.
Mm.
Because it was not his plan, clearly,
Mhm.
because
That's
here I
good.
am. But I'm gonna chalk that up to being ungrateful because I wasn't grateful for what I had. I wasn't grateful for what and I also, did not have a relationship with Jesus at the time. But I wasn't being grateful. I was just like, oh, but what you gave me, that's just not enough. You're gonna have to give me this.
Mm,
So that was 2014. So I feel like that's a pretty relevant situation. Um,
mm,
I think a time where I was most grateful,
Mm.
um,
mm.
was the day we became debt free
Yep.
because that
Yes.
was a hard fought journey, and it needed to be. It needed to be. And just like shouting that from the mountaintops and still having people come to me. I was talking to somebody today who said, when I met you, you talked about you were working on being debt free, and that inspired me. And I was like, you don't know what that pebble is going to do with that ripple, you know?
That ripple effect, honey.
Whew, yeah.
Every time. That is
Every time.
so good. That
Mm,
is so good.
so good.
Wow, that was good.
Mm,
Ooh, what about you, Win?
I declined.
You cannot
You
kindly
cannot decline.
decline.
For me, this is a real and relevant moment. And I'm going to
I know
say,
because we dealt with it 2 episodes
yes,
ago with
we did.
Forget
So
Me
you know
Not, where
what?
we went off on a
Go back and
whole.
watch Forgive Me
Ooh,
Not, and then you'll understand why I declined to reiterate what I was already grateful for 2 episodes ago. Thank you very much.
ooh.
And for those of you who haven't, and a little transparency, and probably more than your business that you should know, but I'm going to be real and relevant tonight and transparent because it's going to bless some people. And it was my previous relationship.
Mm,
Yeah.
And so at the time when God removed that person from my life, I was extremely ungrateful because I thought it's what I wanted. And in hindsight, I'm grateful for what God has assigned to my life.
mm,
But I had to get through it, honey.
that's right.
So that's the brief of it. That's all you're getting. Go back and watch 2 episodes ago.
So good. So good, ladies. For me, just to pick one thing. That's actually the hard part. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because being transparent and real, there's been multiple things I've been ungrateful for, over my life. And then and later it was like, okay, God, ooh, I thank you. I thank you
Yes.
for that. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you for that. Um, I would have to say, oof, oh my goodness. So just ungrateful at the time because I got a demotion on a job years ago.
Mm,
I got a demotion and it was deserved. See, I can be grateful for that. I can say that over myself. It was deserved. The demotion was deserved, right? But coming back to it later
Mm-hmm.
and being so grateful because God showed me, okay, I had to remove you out of that
ooh,
in order to shift you into
Come
mm,
your
on.
new season.
Come on. Come
come
on.
on.
Come
And
on.
if God knows me well enough to know I'm not going to let go on my own. Like I'm going to
Mm-mm.
hold on to something. If He
Honey,
places me somewhere,
loyal
that's
to
in
a
our
fault.
genes, right? When it's in our DNA, we are faithful, we are consistent,
Loyal to a fault,
and we
honey.
will give it 150%.
Mm,
And God
mm,
was like,
mm.
no, I need to, I
Mm.
got to yank you. I got to yank you out of that. I got to yank you out of that so that I can springboard you
Mm,
into where I've purposed you to be.
Come on.
yes.
Come
And
on.
at the time, was I grateful in that moment? Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No,
Nope. Nope. No
of course
tears
not.
flowing, but they were not grateful tears in that moment. I could tell you that.
Mm.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
But for the grace of God. He let me kick and scream and throw my temper tantrum and be even sad and upset in that moment. Because of course he didn't give me a why in that moment, you know. But I can look back on it and have looked back on it later and I'm like, okay, God, I'm so grateful because you didn't do it just once in my life. You did it actually a couple of times. A
No
couple of
doubt.
times. You've done the same thing.
Right.
You've
Right.
Right.
done the same thing. You snatched me and yanked me, and it hurt when you did it, but you were shifting me and
Mm.
pivoting me.
That's right.
Oof,
That's right.
Because what we thought we had, right? When you think of the image of Jesus with the big bear behind his back and the little girl,
my
he's
Right.
favorite image.
kneeling,
Right.
Yes,
right? And she's holding so tight to that small bear. And
Yes.
so when you think about it, that's all she knows is that small
Yes.
bear. And
Yes.
really, Jesus, he could have given her that bear at any given time,
That's right.
right? And so he's saying, okay, this season is up. I have something greater. And you're still trying to hold on to the small bear, honey. And it's like, come on, let this small bear go because you don't realize I have a huge bear that's just waiting, but you're ungrateful because I've taken the small bear away, right?
Right.
And I've got
right.
this huge bear waiting for you, but you can't get you because you haven't gotten yourself together. It's like I know sometimes God looks at us like if you don't get your whole life together.
Most definitely. All day long. Actually, for me, I'll admit that all
Yes.
day long.
Yes.
And the beauty of that image is that her arms were incapable of holding on to both at the same time
Oh,
anyway,
it's not, but she was
because
clutching that little bear.
Yes.
because
Yes.
what Jesus had, the bear he had, would have consumed her, right?
Right. It was
Mm,
bigger than her.
That Ephesians 3:20 bear. That's what that bear is.
that's right.
Exactly.
God's like, I'm
Exactly.
trying to give you exceedingly abundant above
Mm,
all,
mm,
and
mm.
you just holding on to this thing. You're just holding on to
Yes.
this little one right here, and
You
I'm
want to
trying
stay
I'm
on a
trying to give
job
you
that
Right.
you can do with your eyes closed, and he's trying to move you to somewhere that's going to stretch you and make you uncomfortable because you're
Right.
growing in an area you are completely unfamiliar in, right? And
Mm,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, I don't know that I want to grow. I don't know that I want to learn. No, he's got something greater.
right.
Come
Right.
out of
Well,
your comfort zone. He's come out of your comfort zone.
yes, Marcy.
Yes, Marcy.
Marcy.
Seriously, come out of your comfort zone. It's going to be something greater.
Well, we want to grow, We want all those things. We just want to do them in the comfort zone. It's like,
No, come
feel
on.
free to grow me right here.
In your little
That's
fish
right.
bowl. You want to be grow in your fish bowl. No, you
That's
know
right.
what? Lord, you have permission. Take me up out this fish bowl. Go ahead and put me in this fish tank. Go ahead and put me in this ocean. Okay?
Right.
Wherever you feel I need to be at this juncture of my life, let me stop
Yes.
impeding that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because we want to always talk about outside. A lot of these things is internal.
Mm. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
There
You
are
know how
people,
much
places, and
boldness?
things, but a lot of times it ain't people, places, and things. It is us.
That's
You
right.
know how much boldness it takes to pray that prayer, though?
Oh,
I just said it out loud on the interweb.
You did.
Okay?
the interweb.
Out loud
So
on the
I'll
interweb.
play this back for you when you call
Honey.
me and you're like, "What is God doing in these streets?"
And I'll be
Mia?
like,
And
I
I'll
don't
be
want to
like,
hear it right now. Look, Aaron,
let
look.
me play that.
No,
Let me play
she'll be
that
like, I
snippet
don't want
for
to hear
you.
it right now, but I'm gonna be obedient.
How about it? How about it?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I had a conversation tonight. Literally, I was like, I said out, what are you doing? Like, yeah. And he was like, trust me. Okay, bet. That's all you got to say.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Ooh, so good. So good. This conversation is so great,
So
ladies.
y'all tell us in the comments, are there times in your lives where you have been ungrateful, and then in hindsight, maybe the next day, maybe years, that you realize you should be grateful, should have been grateful?
Mm.
So some of those unanswered prayers we talked about.
Every unanswered prayer.
Every. Right.
Right?
Every unanswered.
Upset at the time that it didn't happen. You didn't get it your way, the way you wanted it. And then you look in the hindsight like, God, I thank you.
Right. Yes.
Real
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, but like honestly, if you're ever sitting in front of a gratitude journal or trying to think of something to be grateful for, if you can't think of anything else, there is always the God, I'm grateful that you have kept me from myself.
Come
Mhm.
on.
Mhm.
I'm
Consistently.
grateful that you have kept me from all of my stupid and dumb thoughts, ideas, and decisions and my own plans.
Right. Right.
So you can start there. There's the first journal entry. That one was free. There you
Save
go.
you from yourself. Again, it is not people, places, and things. It
Not
is
all the time. Not all the time.
you. That's one of those, but that's a real and relevant, which is what we talk about on the show, right? Having a transparent moment, being vulnerable, having an introspect moment of, you know what, it's not always other people.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
There's times, sure, when it could be the enemy. Absolutely. He exists. How many times is it him compared to you?
Right.
Is anybody willing to be real right now out in the interweb streets? I mean, how many times is it you?
Right.
More often than most people would ever want to admit.
Let me
Yes.
tell you, what the old preacher say, the devil is not even worried about you because he know you over there trying to, you over there keeping your own self busy.
That's right.
Sabotaging
He's like,
your
I don't
own
even need
self.
to do anything. She's got this.
Correct. Exactly. He ain't fooling with you.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about you.
Right. Yes.
I
There
love
you
it,
go,
Marcy.
honey. Bring it on back. The 80s.
Better check
Yes.
yourself. That's right.
So true. So true.
true.
So when I know you got questions for tonight.
Always. Honey, I live for some questions, Erin. I always got questions. I call Tini all the time, be like, honey, I got a question.
Marcy,
So
you're gonna
tonight-
have to bear with us on this segment.
Listen, if we are supposed to give thanks to God for every circumstance, is there such a thing as a bad moment or a bad season in our life?
Things
Why y'all
that
so
make
quiet?
us go, because it's things that make us go,
That's right. So I'm going to say yes, that there is such a thing because Jesus told us we would have troubles. He told us, right?
Mhm,
He
mhm.
told us that we would be persecuted because of him. So yes, I think so. That doesn't mean that we can't find grace and gratitude in. I think it's sometimes very difficult in the moment, but you said this earlier when like, but you're here to feel it, you're here to experience it, you know. So I do believe, I mean, listen, when I lost my mom in 2003, like what's to be grateful about that, right? I mean, she's young, like come on. And I am grateful that it happened so fast
Mm.
because not only would she have been a nightmare because she was fiercely independent, but just I'm grateful that it didn't have to drag on. I'm grateful that we didn't
Mm.
have to see her decline for months and months. You know, she was diagnosed May 2nd, she died May 18th.
Wow.
I'm grateful that it was that fast. I don't know that I felt that way that day or even in that, I don't know, month or, but over time that it was bad, but I have gratitude for what it wasn't. Maybe that's
Mm.
maybe that's one way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a great way of looking at that question. That's a great
Mm.
way. I
Mhm.
I tend to lean towards the no. There is no such thing as a bad moment or bad season if I if I choose to believe and live in the reality that God wastes nothing.
Mm, true.
There's that.
There's
There's that.
that.
So even though it may have been sad for me or upsetting for me,
Mm.
sorry, I had to take an exhale on that. If if I say I'm willing to be used by God, like Gwen was praying that prayer earlier,
Mhm.
then it's like, okay, then there is no bad season, there is no bad moment because God,
Mhm.
I'm being that conduit for you.
That's
Here we
right.
go back to that. I'm
True.
being
Mm.
that conduit for you,
Right.
and I'm being that testimony for you so that I can then
That's
be
true.
able to empathize and relate to somebody else that I know at some point you're going to allow me to cross paths with.
That's right.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, I tend to lean towards the no, but only when I'm willing to look at it from that
Perspective.
perspective.
It's
Mm,
perspective.
I
it's true.
have to be willing to look
It's
at it
all
from
about
that
perspective.
perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. That
That he wastes
season,
nothing.
That's
He
no,
true.
doesn't waste a gosh darn thing.
no. No matter what we go through, traumatic or not, bad moment or a bad season, not at all. It's all God's handiwork, and it's just about our perspective.
Mhm. Yes. So, what would be your answer to that question, man? Or was that your answer?
That was my answer. Yeah, it's no bad season or bad moment, right? It's about the perspective, and as you said, God wastes nothing.
So, I feel like we already covered that one question. So, I'm going to skip it, ladies, because we did already chat about that, right?
Mhm.
Remaining in a permanent state of gratefulness.
Mm.
So, the
Yeah,
other question is the good question.
that was my question. That was
Woo.
my
So,
one question.
ladies, are
I ask
we?
good, juicy questions, Aaron.
That is juicy.
Yes, it's something. Are we grateful? Are we grateful for the people in our lives who we know are not for us?
Mm,
Mhm.
As an example, was Jesus grateful for Judas?
Mhm. Mhm.
mm.
He was
I
He had a
agree.
job to do.
correct.
I
I agree.
mean, without him, the whole plan goes
Come on.
astray.
Come on.
Right.
Think about
And
it.
you said this earlier when, you are grateful for that past relationship.
Correct.
So I think, yes, because what Tania just said, God redeems all of it.
Mhm.
There is always a lesson in that.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to accept that person's behavior or condone it or what have you, but it our lives aren't perfect, they are purposed.
There's that again.
So that person those people have a purpose.
That's it.
That is true. I agree. I agree with both you ladies. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly, because Judas' story, I think that he is kind of one of the most underrated disciples, to be honest with you. I know that everybody gives him such a bad rap. And it's amazing how in religion we put a stigma on certain characters in the Bible.
Yes. Yes, we do.
But to
True.
understand that all of them have relevance and all of them served a purpose, and had they not had a purpose, they would not have been included. Okay.
True.
And so when you think about God being the master strategist, he already knew. And he knew that one, Jesus was like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Let's just be real.
Right.
Okay. And so you need someone to help you along in the mission and in the assignment that God has for you. And Judas did well in his assignment, because had Jesus not gotten on the cross, where would all of us be? So we need to be more thankful to Judas in real talk than what we do in our life, as far as how we even reverence certain characters in the Bible. And he gets such a bad rap, but honestly, his role was fulfilled. He did his job.
Right. And then it's always remembering in context that Jesus handpicked his 12.
Think
So
about it.
he picked the person that he knew was going to be his betrayer.
Right.
Master
Right?
strategist.
Yes.
Once again, when we accept that
Mhm.
everyone is in our lives for a purpose and a reason,
Come on.
and when we take time to ask God, okay, is this person in my life to grow me, stretch me, or are they in my life because I'm supposed to pour into them? I am quick to always ask God, what is the purpose? Show me the purpose of this person you
Mhm.
just placed in my life, so
Mhm.
that this way I know. Because if they're going to
Right.
stretch me, then I already know how I'm going to be praying.
That's right.
Right.
I'm
That's
gonna be
right.
praying for strength, not to cuss them out, Lord. Let me
Real
know
talk.
now. Let me know now up front, God. Why did you put this person in my life? Or why
Mm,
are they still here? Even some
mm,
people's like, well, why are they still in my life? God,
mm,
show me. Why are they still here? Because he's handpicking. Nothing,
mm,
as we love to say, ladies, right? Nothing is by
Uh,
coincidence.
That's right.
mm.
That's right.
Nothing. Nothing. And shout out to Tisa. Nothing is out the blue. Nothing is
Nothing.
truly out the
Nothing.
blue
Right.
with God, right?
That's
Nothing.
it.
So yeah, I think he was grateful. I think he was grateful for Judas. I think he was grateful that Judas went through with it, because he could have
Correct.
changed his
That's
mind.
right.
There's that, right?
He could have changed his mind. So
Yes.
I am also grateful for Judas.
And us keeping it in perspective of being grateful for the Judases in our lives, and to
Mm.
know
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
they all served a role and a purpose.
That's right.
Every closed door, every betrayal, every hurt, right? All those things, there were lessons. I tell
That's
people I
right.
don't have regrets in life. I just have love and lessons.
Mm.
So, do we take that perspective of people who are in our lives that we may not, that we know may not be for us, right? They may not be they may not have the best interest in mind for us, but we know that nothing that they do, God is not going to allow it if it's not for a good, right? It's going to have a purpose. So we just have to trust in him for that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's sometimes it's even the simplicity of God using the driver next to you on the road that cuts you off, and God showing you, here's where you're still lacking in some grace,
Hmm.
right? Because it's like, okay, what's your first response going to be? Is your
Real talk.
first response going to be, the
True.
hand of, well, God bless you? Or is it going to be, I have some choice words for you. And when we get to the traffic light, I'm going to have even
Mhm.
more choice words for you. It's like,
Mhm.
it's like God wastes nothing. He's like, hey, I'm showing you this is
Right.
the area you still need to be working on. that little spot right there. You know, it's recognizing God will use anything and anyone
Mm, mm, mm.
to get his
Right.
purpose and his will
He will.
accomplished in our lives.
That's it.
Yes.
So embrace those Judas moments and put in the comments. We want to hear from you. Let us know how you feel about people in your life that you know may not be for you, may not have your best interests at heart. Are you grateful for them? Share. Let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Mm.
Yes, yes. So, ladies, do we want to transition on to Testimony Tuesday or one God moment?
Erin, give
That
us.
one was not for you, Erin. That one is to always remind when. Just
Let me tell you about this one right here. Let me tell you about this one right here.
She's like, hold on, let me tell you.
point in the right direction.
Let me tell you about her.
So my testimony is that tomorrow, hope should be tomorrow, depending on how the funds hit our account. But because God delivered us out of debt and provided the business that I have, it enabled us to pay cash for college. And tomorrow, if the 529 deposit happens tomorrow, we will pay off my daughter's college. It'll be our last payment, and she graduates in May.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the story behind that too is when I was full force in my network marketing business, which I still have, and God continues to bless without my hands on it, because that's what he told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
I distinctly remember writing down in many, many places that business was gonna cause enable us to pay cash for college. And when we went through our financial crisis, I was like, I don't know how we're gonna, like, we got nothing. I mean, like, vulnerably, ladies, drained my 401k. We had nothing.
Yeah.
And and he delivered. I mean, yeah.
Mm.
I love it.
I love this ripple effect of obedience out here in these obedient streets. And making money and debt free in the obedient streets. Okay.
I mean,
that's where I am with that.
Yeah.
And he took and made something out of nothing.
Oh,
because like you said, he emptied. He allowed you to empty.
Yeah, he did.
So that he would be like, so that this way you will always be able to say
it was him.
It was God.
It was him.
Yeah.
Every moment of it.
She can't rely back on herself at all to say this was my self-funding. No, this was God.
So
he gets
good.
That is spot on, Erin.
Ooh,
congratulations.
Thank you. It's
right? Glory. That's it. Girl.
That's it. Yeah.
That's so good. We don't need another testimony like that. That just carries. That was woo. I know you got one, Win. Go ahead.
I don't know. Like I'm still sitting in Erin. Let me sit in.
She's like, let me soak it in.
Oh, I have a million testimonies, but I want to shout out to Erin. I gave you a shout out a couple of weeks ago. I think it was 2, 3. I don't know. Whatever. When you sent me the email of your obedience test, right?
Yeah.
Honey. And I had to shout you out on here. And I was like, this was my testimony Tuesday. And I'm going to just say this, like, it was a pleasure working with you every day and us being soul sisters before you started working with me and after. And I absolutely love when she sent her resignation email and I sent it on to HR. And what is in the resignation is that I have to go be obedient. And honey, let me tell you, the blessings of obedience. Every time I go back and I read your message, I cry. I give gratitude that God has been faithful for you taking the leap, right? And putting in your resignation and saying, I've got to go because I've got to go be obedient.
Right.
And how many people are willing to be so transparent on their jobs that they're sending to HR, hey, reason for leaving, obedience.
Right.
Right.
Real talk. And so when I read your message and just looking at all the areas, I mean, line by line by line by line of God's faithfulness since you've left, right? Since August, line by line by line. And if you're all on the replay, it is November, right? And it's just like,
Right.
oh my God, all of these lines of these
Right.
blessings of obedience because you did what you were supposed to do. So my
Mm.
testimony Tuesday, again, twice in the last, few weeks, it's just, I'm grateful and so thankful that you listened, and that you did not necessarily what you wanted to do, but you did what God told you to do, and that He is
Yes.
faithful.
Yes.
There's no doubt.
100.
Yes. Yes. We will have to do, we're gonna have to do an obedience episode, and we'll have to have Erin back. Truly.
Absolutely.
We have to have you back, Erin.
I will
'Cause we're
gladly
gonna have
come
to
back
talk
and talk
about
about obedience because the day that I told Win, Win said, I cannot block
Mm-mm.
your obedience. Like
No.
right. And that has a ripple effect.
Honey.
And us being grateful for his redirecting and his shifting, which Tania talked about with her job situation years ago, that it's not it's not just about him moving us, it's him positioning us for the purpose for somebody else's blessing. Like
Right.
what?
Right. Tania talks about it all the time. Is who is your disobedience, right? Who's waiting on your
That's
obedience?
right. That's
What's
right.
the
Right.
ripple effect? And so when
That's
you're
right.
saying one thing to me,
That's
and
right.
if I was not in alignment,
No.
right? And God, I'm checking in, and God's like, let her go. She needs to go. She needs to go. Okay. I'm not holding you, right?
Right.
No. He needs to move you on. Everything has a ripple effect.
Everything.
And what would it be, as Tania says, if we stay in our disobedience? Who's waiting on us?
That's
What
right.
hindrance is there?
Yes.
What is the ripple effect of us staying where we had a season, right?
Yeah.
God put you there for a season.
Season.
100%. And so when that season ended and there's time for transition, okay, come on now.
Right.
It's time to transition.
Right.
And so
Right.
that's the testimony right there. It's just the results of the faithfulness of you being obedient.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Hmm.
So good.
So
So
good.
congratulations, honey, because this
Thank
is the tip of the
I
iceberg.
mean,
Oh, I know.
double congrats tonight. Truly. Whew, uh, I can't even come close to topping that, and I'm not going to try. Um, I am just so grateful. I'm grateful for God's faithfulness to His word
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
There are so many times, probably more often than not, that He doesn't always answer me when I ask a question of Him. That He just lets it ride. But I'm thankful and so grateful for the moments when He does grace me with an answer,
Yeah.
and give me clarity and give me wisdom and give me understanding, and even just a peek to understand what He's doing and why He's doing it and why He's allowing it
That's right.
in my life. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for those little peekaboo moments that He gives me of I'm gonna put a crack in the door.
Real
I'm
talk.
just gonna let you see, but you got 2 seconds to peek through that door
Right.
to understand and to see what I'm doing and the why. And I preface all that because Saturday, my husband and I, we were having a discussion, and it was emotional for both of us. And we were literally talking and questioning God out loud in our conversation of, well, why is God allowing this? And why is why is this happening? Why is God doing this? Or why is he not doing that?
Mm.
And so I'm praying throughout the day on Saturday. I'm like, God, please give us answers, give us clarity. Let us know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Please, God, like, please. I know you don't have to, but it would be nice. And we were upstairs shooting some pool as a family, having a great family day, just doing that. And I just, I just, it was kind of like, you ever have like an out of body moment where you just like,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe it was a vision, but I visioned, I visioned us getting a phone call from our pastor
Come
with
on.
the answer to our question out the blue, like this phone call, like so to put it in perspective, our pastor is
Mm-hmm.
Bishop T.D. Jakes, not just
Right.
some pastor around the corner. So mind you, I'm just
Right.
like, we're gonna,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, shoot, I'm like, we're gonna get a phone call from Bishop Jakes explaining,
Mm.
answering our questions. Okay, and I just kept on with my day. I was like, okay. And that evening, my husband's cell phone rings, and it's in his pocket. And I'm like, your phone's ringing. He pulls it out. What name is on the caller ID? Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Come
Love
on.
it. The Potter's house is calling you, honey. Answer the phone.
Come on.
I was like, you need to answer the phone. I was like,
Okay, Erin.
answer the
Oh
phone.
my gosh.
So that wasn't. It was. It was God's way of confirming
Mm-hmm.
that He was going to bless us with the answer. Now it was a recording, and it was
Mm-hmm.
an advertisement for the conference next month,
But
right?
come on.
But
The leadership
still,
conference. But come on, you can. I mean, think about it.
I was sitting there like, did that just say on your phone? Like it just said
Come on.
on your phone. So Sunday morning comes, and
Mm,
we're in E
look,
Church.
look.
Are you spinning? Where you go on, girl? Give me a spin.
Sunday morning comes, we're in E Church, and thinking he's going to speak, and it's okay even if he doesn't. I'll receive God's word from anybody that God gives a word to.
That's right.
I'm not particular at all. And he brings in a guest pastor to
Mm.
speak. And when I tell you all,
Fire.
God put every answer
Mm.
to our questions in her
She was fire.
mouth.
She was fire. I listened to it again today. It was fire.
So I have listened to it 5 times now,
Good Lord.
because God keeps telling me,
Mm.
I need you to keep chewing it.
Mm-hmm.
I need you
Mm-hmm.
to keep
It
chewing
was a
it.
lot to digest.
It was a
Absolutely.
lot.
That was a deep message, Erin. If you haven't seen it,
Oh,
it's a very deep message.
Is that the
For
link
sure.
you sent me today?
No,
Okay. I'll go
but
find it.
we will
I
put the
think I
link.
sent you today, Pastor Michael Todd's
Oh, I love him.
words. No, this was Sunday morning service of the Potter's House.
Right.
Dr. Shoel, let me tell you, it is like an extra well done T-bone steak. You gonna chew on that thing for a minute. Do you
And
hear
I
me?
have chewed, and I have chewed, and God is like, keep
Mm-hmm.
chewing.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
There's more here.
There is.
That's it.
There has been. And I've just been so grateful to God.
Mm.
So grateful to God today, because I woke up with such a clarity
Mm.
and a revelation
Yes.
Mm.
of the last 14 years of me and my family's life, and how
Whoa.
God gave her the full summary
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
in one message. And I've just chewed on it 5 times now. I've chewed on it. And I'm just like, okay, God. And when I think I don't need to listen to it anymore, he's like, play it
Mm-mm.
again.
One more time.
Play it again.
Mm.
I
And
love
I'm like,
that.
okay, I'm just gonna keep playing it until you tell me I'm good.
Mm.
But it is blessing us, and I just thank God so much for that. I mean, I can't. there are no words. I'm
Mm.
at a loss of words. If you see me stammering over my words, which is not like me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just at a loss for words. And
Because
I'm
there's
doing
nothing like
everything I
God
can not
giving
to
a
cry right now
confirmation.
because I'm just so grateful.
That was a confirmation on top of a confirmation that you needed. And it came, and not only did it come, it came in layers and stages.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Right.
Because it has to.
Right. But I
Yes.
love how he confirmed you're going to get the word through your pastor's mouth because he called.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
You
Come on.
called.
Because
Like
this is
you
what we
called
need
my
sometimes.
husband's cell phone.
Listen,
Right.
you
we make the fleece wet, make the fleece look, we whatever.
Right. Right.
Come on, purple cursive crayon, whatever it is that you know you need. God's like, okay, bet I got it. However you need to receive it. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So that's my short testimony. I tried to be short. Sorry.
No, it was
Woo.
good. That was good.
So
So
good.
good.
So good.
God is faithful. That's the most amazing
Yes.
thing, is that whatever we need and what we may not even think we need, God is delivering it right to our door. Right?
So
It's just
true.
about us receiving it. And so he's faithful every time.
Every
So
time.
true. So
Hmm.
true.
Good
Oh my
ladies.
goodness. This has been amazing, ladies.
Hmm.
Every time. Mm.
If you all out there in the listeners world have
Right.
a testimony for Tuesday, or any day for that matter, put it in the comments. We'd love to celebrate with you. We'd love to be able to go back and read them even after the replay and it's no longer live. You can still post your comments for us to be able to celebrate with you. So
Yeah.
happy Testimony Tuesday,
That's
everybody.
right.
Yes. And special thanks. I mean, thank you so much, Erin. Thank
Oh,
you
thank
so
you.
Absolutely.
much
Mm.
for joining us. If you can take a moment and just tell people about your Hustle with Heart coaching
Mhm.
Sure.
and how they can connect with you.
That would be an honor to do so. So I work, as I mentioned earlier, I work with ambitious Christian women in business, generally over 40, because you've experienced some life by then, and really helping them to embrace how God defines and directs them, helping them to establish discipline in their business, and then helping them to take what they learn from that and continue to develop. And you can find me at erinharrigan.com, and you can learn about my coaching right there. I do both one-on-one personal coaching, and I also have a group coaching membership called the Rooted Group Coaching Membership, because we
Mm.
need to be rooted in Him, right? And I also have a book, Pursuing Success God's Way, a practical guide to hustle with heart. And I have a Christmas book pack, so it's a signed book, personally signed book, and my Hustle with Heart prayer bookmark that you can get at my website /Christmas pack. That'll be in the notes somewhere.
Mhm.
And follow me on social. I have a podcast. I talk about these kinds of topics all the time as they relate to business, because my mission really is to help raise up Christian women in business to claim Jesus as their savior in the center of their business and to make kingdom impact, because pursuing success his way is
Mm.
vastly different than the world.
Come on.
So that's
Love
that's me, and
it.
it was just such an honor to be here with the two of you. Absolutely.
Mm, mm,
Love
mm.
it. Well, I feel like the world just got to be part of our usual conversations when we're
Yes.
together anyway.
Mhm.
That's right.
It's always God wrapped up in it. Always ends up turning into a testimony service or something anyway. When the
Listen,
three of
all
us
we
are blessed
missing
to get
is
together.
Tisa, where we can say Tisa pray. That's all we missing is for her to
Right.
pray us out. That's it.
That is so true.
The four of
Right.
us. There you go. Shout out to Tisa. We'll have her on
Yes.
one of these days. But it's Erin,
Yes.
it's been always good to see you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just keep being obedient, girlfriend.
Mm,
And the people who
Please.
are reading your life, right? The book of your life,
yeah.
the ripple effect,
That's right.
not just from obedience, but just in the practicum of just Dave Ramsey, or
Oh yeah.
even in your business, right? All the practicum and the lives that are being changed because you're being a vessel that's obedient is just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
there's legacy attached. There's
Oh, yeah.
generational impact.
Yes.
so much so, so
Yes.
much so. So um, next week we will be right back here for episode 9,
Yep.
which
Can you
in
believe
honor of the last month of the year that we are approaching, as in tomorrow,
it? Mm-hmm.
the topic will be finish it.
Whew.
Mm,
So come ready because we're coming for you. We're gonna come down your street.
coming for you.
We're gonna come down your street.
That's it.
Uh, continue to share. Please continue to share. We so love and appreciate all the shares, all the feedback, all the comments. Tomorrow, this will be available for you for replay on our YouTube channel, which we've already
Mhm.
put the link up at the beginning of tonight's episode. So you can catch that and share it with everybody that you know that does not have Facebook. They
Right.
can now
Subscribe.
take
Subscribe.
part and
Subscribe.
watch. Yes,
Yes.
please
Mm.
subscribe and turn your notifications on, even on the YouTube channel. So you know when we've posted new videos and new things. So until next week, ladies, everybody, keep listening,
Take care.
keep being grateful. We'll see you next Tuesday.